So this is, I never thought the US government shutdown would affect me, but here I am now in front of you because of it. And then the big plus with this is that I've never replaced someone from the White House. So here I am replacing someone from the White House. So I was asked to do a quick presentation on our business, so I came up with this title, and it's really it's a freemium model right for plugins. So I work with a team on a freemium plugin, and this is how we did it. Now, I don't have experience on building a premium plugin or just a free plugin. We really have a free and a paid version. So here's how it goes. It used to be called until last week Wisija, and it was we loved the name, but it was just impossible to remember, to write or spell or etc. And now we're called MailPoet's, and I'm wondering, can you guys raise your hands if you've ever heard of this plugin or? Okay. I recognize the French community. How many of you are plugin developers? Okay, so this you might find this interesting. So this is the team. There's 2 guys missing, but basically it's 5 coders. Me, who's sort of the product manager, and we have 1 silent partner. And this silent partner is actually a guy who did a plugin for newsletters in Joomla. So he's from the other side. And he's not on the photo. So it all starts 2 years ago. So it took us 6 months to build the basics and launch it, but this was our sort of, okay, we adopt a freemium model. Here's our pre-launch checklist. So how are we gonna sell all of this? So the first thing you want to do is get it out there, and the repository is obviously the best place to put it. We also thought a lot about Google and SEO, and then it was all about recommendations. People talked about it, so this was sort of our strategy in the beginning. And we found out we ran a lot of polls with our users, and we found out that the repo, 55% of the users find us on the repo, 22% find us on Google, and the recommendations, the forums, blog posts, all of that, they all go into one big recommendations category. Now what's interesting is that we ask the same question to our customers, people who buy our plugin, and it's exactly the same divisions of sources. When you are on the repo, I'm sure you guys do it all the time here, you download a plugin, you try it, you dump it, right? So we always wondered how many people actually stick around with us. And I found this statistics from Press Trends, which tracks, it's like a mixed panel, a KISS metrics for plugins and themes. And they said there's a 47% drop-off rate. I think that's based on 1 million websites they track on WordPress. I think that's quite accurate. It's maybe even more, it's hard to tell. But once your plugin is out there, people try it and then they leave it or they stick with it. So how many people stick with us? We don't have that number and we will never have it. So when you launch, you wanna have an identity, you wanna have a cool, you wanna look cool, look friendly. We just copied Woo Teams, don't bother, they do it so well, I'm honest, they do it so well. In fact, Adi Pinar, one of the partners, he's really a master of it. So we took a Woo Teams team, and that was it. We just started doing like Woo, and we're still learning along the way. So we have a free version and we have a paid version, and then you of course have to decide on pricing, and we went for $99 for 1 year, which is expensive in the WordPress world. A lot of people think this is expensive. Now that's all relative. If you're sending a lot of emails, etc., you could be spending a lot more on your email campaigns than you're on hosting. Let's say, I don't know, you could be spending $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a year just on newsletters. So people associate our price with other plugins, not with what it does, which is newsletters and all that. So what's interesting is in the last 2 years, the prices of plugins and themes has gone up and going towards at $99. So that's sort of the ballpark number. And we started with a very simple plugin at a high price, and we're building towards that. We're adding the features, etc., etc. Is $99 a good price? I think it is. It's only for 1 year, though. Some people will complain about that. When we launched, I was a huge WordPress enthusiast, but I spent a lot of time in Africa. And I was never, me and my partners were never known in the community. We didn't have a big Twitter account that was followed. We didn't have a blog on WordPress. So when we started, we really started with no clout. We were nobodies launching a plugin. That was it. So, I mean, I tried to send emails to some big websites like WP Tavern, WP Candy, and I never got a reply from them. And in fact, I saw a tweet, I think from Jeff from WP Tavern saying, these companies that they come out of nowhere and you think they're going to try your plugin, and I knew it was for me, so. So if you're going to launch, build your Twitter account. A great example of a good Twitter account is Pippin's. From Easy Digital Downloads. He's hyper active on Twitter, and that's a great marketing sort of outreach. So 6 months go by, we launched the plugin. So that's about a year and a half ago. So my presentation goes through these next few months. Okay, so we launch, and then we're like, wow, today there's 50 million WordPress installs. When we launched, it was 30 million. So you're like, wow, if we could only get 1% of these 50 million, that's a lot of websites. You can't think like that. That's a false number, or it's a false promise. If you take a look at Yoast SEO, which is in really the top 5 plugins, he's been around, and it's a quality plugin, and it's entirely free. He maybe has anything for sure, 1 million. He wrote it on his blog last week. He for sure has 1 million. Is Yoast in the room here, or maybe he could tell us? No, he isn't. So yeah, so that's a very high. That's really the maximum you can reach if you reach the top 5 of plugins. When you launch on the repository, you become addicted to this graph, which is the stats page, and it's the only cue and metrics you get from the popular, the evolution of your plugin. So here we are, this is from yesterday, I think. Here we're at 600,000 downloads. And the problem with this graph, or the limitation of it, is that it doesn't calculate it doesn't make a difference between the updates and the first downloads. So they're all aggregated. So it's kind of hard for us to say, oh, how many are updates, how many are downloads. We have this small calculation we make, and that gives us an idea. So you're battling to know how many active users you have, and that's a figure you will never have, but you're still trying to estimate it. And we've had the people who manage the repositories, they're great guys, and one of them is here, his name is Otto. And of course, these are conversations we have with him. He was asking me, why do you want to know how many active users you have? And I said, well, for me, the active users we have is going to give us a conversion rate to paying customers. And that conversion rate in the freemium world is very important. It's the key metric. But you will never have it. So, as I said, we rarely see this, right? No, I mean, when we started, we were really nobodies, and since we were 3, I'm from Montreal, and my partners are French. We got known in the French community quite quickly, and bloggers talked about us. The WordPress community, in the French WordPress community right now, is growing very rapidly. The last 2-3 years have been phenomenal in the French community. And they really carried us in the beginning and got us known and gave us feedback. So they were the ones who were applauding in the beginning there. So. And so this comes to WordCamps. This is where you're going to meet users and bloggers, and people are going to talk about you. So the first year, in the small budget, we were bootstrapped, right? We took our own money, and so. But I went through a lot of WordCamps, and so we did two things at WordCamps. We're talking like right now, and then you sponsor. And I did ask myself the question: is sponsoring, does that really give anything back to me? And no, it doesn't. Sponsoring doesn't give you. Have you guys looked at the did you guys notice that we were sponsors in this conference or not? Yeah, kind of, yeah. It doesn't, but you still have to do it because that's how you give back to the community. And talking does help get yourself known. So, and that's specifically with the French community, that's what happened. And the Polish one as well, actually. We had basically Woo Teams and Manage WP wrote each on us at 1.6 months or 7 months after, and they and other small bloggers, and they were the base of getting ourselves known on the wider scale. So reviews, you want them, but you can't really pay. You don't want to pay for them. You just have to wait for them. So the other marketing strategy we had, if you can call, or yeah, marketing strategy, is support. And we took support at heart from day one. If you read the books on the startup worlds in Silicon Valley, they always talk about being so close to your to your users, and that's very accurate. So we offer support 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and we support free users. Everybody gets an answer at least within 24 hours, and premium you get under 12 hours. And what does this do? This support, it gives you two benefits. One is the developers are closer to the user's needs, but also in marketing, what happens is as soon as we fix somebody's problems or issue, we say, hey, go rate us on the repository. This is in terms of comparison, because these numbers don't really mean anything, but we've only been like 18 months on the repository, and 840, we get 2 a day, 2, 3 a day. And that's a lot. And that really we're on the first page of the highest rated plugins today. Another strategy is to, if you're into agile development and all that, is to release often. Every 2-3 weeks you release bug fixes, new features. And so after 6 months, we had sort of adopted that. And that has the additional benefit of increasing your downloads. So the people that run the repository know that that's a trick to get false download numbers. So you can't abuse of it. But every 2-3 weeks, we update our plugin with a few fixes, and that helps us jump the downloads total. A year goes by after launch. Where are we? We have 200,000 downloads, and now we're asking ourselves really how many users we have, and we just started to estimate. And at that point, a year after launch, we're at 20,000. We think we're at 20,000 users. What happens then is people see your success, or what appears to be a success, and so you're going to start to see competitors. And competition is good. It makes a better product for users. So I can't say that, of course I think our plugin is better than our competitors, but it really at least makes us look at what other people are doing. So you have to watch out. It's also 12 months after we broke even, so we started earning real money, which paid we were still not rich, but 12 months after we were able to have a meager salary, the 3 guys that were working on it at the beginning. And And that is quite fast, actually. If you speak to other startups, you know, I go to startup conferences, and 12 months after, my expectation is that we would be super rich. And no, we weren't. We were, but other startups were like, holy shit, you're already making, like, you're already near breaking even. So this is what they call in the startup world when you have a minimum viable product. Like, that product will make a living for you. So that's when we reached it. We started to hire as well, because we were getting, at that time, about 400 tickets, so users write to us. That generates 2.5 back and forths. It was taking about 30% of our time. So this is the moment where we started to decide, okay, let's scale. And this is where I talked about it before, but basically we're seeing ourselves go higher and higher in the highest rated and most popular pages. We explored coupons as well. I think we've only did 4 coupon campaigns in a year and a half. The coupons, do they really work? It's very hard to say. Our campaigns have never been used that much by coupons. And the nature of our plugin is that if you decide to do a newsletter with our plugin, it's a real commitment. You've tested our plugin, you're on the free version. There's so much newsletters in WordPress are such a pain in the ass that once you've found a solution you like, the coupon's not going to convince you to buy it or not, right? So if you get 25% off $100, doesn't mean much. So where are we today? That's 18 months after. Well, it's grown a hell of a lot. 600,000 downloads. We think we have about 50,000 active users. We have 900 tickets a month. We're going towards 1,000 right now. We are 6 full-time guys. There's always one person on support every day. We rotate on support. Everybody in the team that has 1 day of support. So things are getting busy as we speak. We think that based on the downloads and our mini estimations, we think right now that we're getting 4,000 active users per month, and it's increasing every month. So it took us 18 months to get to the real launch pad, basically, and here we are right now. When you have a freemium product, a lot of people will ask you, what's your conversion rate? So I talked about it earlier, but so there is we don't have a conversion rate, but what you need to expect yourselves is you're not going to convert 50% of the people. You're going to convert maybe anything between 2 to 10%. If you're above 5% or 6%, that's very good. You will never convert 20%. So this comes to saying, okay, so you're converting so little users into paying. Okay, well, we have the free version which we want to deploy which we want to distribute on the repository, and the repository has very strict rules on because any plugin on the repository have to be totally free. Ours is not totally free. We have a limit of 2,000 subscribers. Above 2,000 subscribers, you need to pay. Within our plugin, we had a lot of if you had the premium version, you would get this feature. And we got a long email from the repository managers saying, you guys are trialware, and if you don't give us they're flexible. Tell us how much you need to change your plugin, and we will allow you to stay on the repository. So this was sort of a negotiation I had by email with Otto. And beware of all these banners and all these things, or trying to convince people to go to premium. It will, at one point, they will notice and they won't like it. As for the 2,000 limit, I managed to keep it there, arguing that the 2,000 limit was based on our industry, which is MailChimp, etc., all have this 2,000 limit. So what happens is, since our plugin is a great free plugin with almost no calls to conversion to premium, we ran a survey this summer, and we were like, are you even tempted by the premium? Yes, no, maybe. Never heard of the premium. And 35% of our users don't even know we have a premium version. So that's bad marketing, I guess, from us in some ways. It's also a proof that we really built a great free plugin, and building a great free plugin allows you to reach as many people as possible. You don't really need, anyway, so we're in the shadow of the chimp. How many of you use MailChimp? Okay. MailChimp is great. It's awesome. It's outside WordPress, but it's awesome. MailChimp has over 100 employees, 10 years of experience, a great free product. Beating the chimp is not an easy job, but we do have our unique value proposition is we're within WordPress. And the main argument we're still fighting that we hear is that, oh, you should never use a plugin to send newsletters because there's a deliverability issue. That's because you've heard the marketing from MailChimp, and it's actually, you can often, if you have a dedicated server with a unique IP, you can send for free thousands of emails every day, manage your own reputation in a fairly easy manner, and it will get to your users, and deliverability is the main sort of argument. So we're still fighting that. We're still saying, hey, but you could send use MailPoet's, and then plug it with SendGrid or Amazon SES, etc., etc. Deliverability is a paranoia that the industry has put on you guys, and it's working. No, I'm not saying it's a false. I'm not giving a false promise. Deliverability is an issue. You have to take it, but you have to take care of it. But it's also available within our plugin. Raise your hand if you are MailChimp users. That's already done. Okay, so that's it.